Hello everyone and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe, True and Love. Here it's Sports Review Topics, episode number 132 on the podcast today. I did prolong this episode, obviously, for a couple reasons. First we got new computers installed, so that took a little time getting used to, but up here loaded. As you can see by my previous episode, where I talked about the Damar Hamlin incident, but yeah, then that incident that occurred on Monday night, but after seeing more reports, glad to see he's doing much better. But today on the podcast, we'll talk about the other things that happened this past weekend and this week as pertains to the NFL games, college football. The national title game will take place on Monday. We'll talk about those the semifinal games and give a preview a little bit to the national title game between Georgia and TCU, as well as talk about some of the big go-rounds as far as the NBA is concerned the last couple of days. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more, click this subscription down there the corner. This new picture is messing me up a little bit, but click this down in the corner and take you to the access to the rest of the channel, pretty much. So, college football. So, first of all, the college football playoffs. We had two very good, I must say, very, very good playoff games Saturday, it's crazy, but on New Year's Eve, between, first of all, TCU and Michigan, and then Georgia, Ohio State. First, I must say, TCU and Michigan, hell of a game. I came into the playoffs thinking that Michigan, with how this year's been going, just the little adversity they have gone through, I thought Michigan this would be the year that they rejoice at the top of college football and they win the national title game. And TCU, I had in the back of my head, TCU's fiery, TCU's, potentially Max Duggan's last game in college football. So, gonna lay it all on the line. And boy, did TCU come to play, as they wanted to shoot out 51-45. I mean, TCU really was able to hang tight and buckle down. You know, really, Michigan's first big play, they had 60 yards from Donovan Edwards, and then they fail to punch in the end zone. They go for it on 4th down. Got nothing. And then they try to punch it again. No good. Pick 6 by TCU. Quinn Johnson had a hell of a day. The running back from TCU, hell of a day on the ground. Max Duggan wasn't his prettiest day, but he took shape and he was game. And really helped catapulted, and that defense when it mattered most. They buckled down and TCU got it done. For Michigan, there was that bad call with the missed touchdown early in the game. But Michigan kept firing back. Did not have the lead in that game. J.J. McCarthy definitely made some throws. He won back. Edwards played well. Ronnie Bell played well. But it's just too big of a hole they had to climb themselves out of. And their undefeated regular season falls short. And it would be easy to say that Blake Corum, if he was there, would have changed the game. But when you look at the day Edwards had on the ground, I think, more issues as far as defense is concerned. But Michigan falls short. And TCU, congrats to them. As many people that said, well, TCU doesn't belong, they certainly showed that they belonged in the college football playoff, and that's concerned. Georgia, Ohio State. That was great. That was great as well. Ohio State it seemed like it was making a statement to start, We thought that, or at least I did, and some others thought, Ohio State was a team that could really give Georgia trouble. And they gave them trouble. Big trouble throughout the game. It was 21-7 deficit. But Georgia found its way back. Then it was 38-24 late in the game. Now Marvin Harrison Jr. did go out in the 4th quarter, but Georgia robbed back. Stetson Bennett played a remarkable 4th quarter, and they rallied back. Ohio State missed a 50-yard field goal at the end of regulation, and Georgia held on to win 42-41. So, held job by Bulldogs. Georgia versus TCU. That's an intriguing matchup because you got the big unlikely TCU, who came in the season unranked to start the season, and Georgia, the reigning champs, are looking to become the first back-to-back champions in a while. But TCU, I mean, they got moxie, they got swag about them, they got an energy they're going to bring certainly with them. And I mean, both teams have plenty potential, mostly Georgia, but plenty of NFL caliber players. I mean, for one, Jalen Carter, big guy up the middle for Georgia, is going to be probably a top 3 pick in this year's NFL draft. Top 5 even. With the way he's done. I mean, Bowers is a heck of a tight end for Georgia, I must say. I mean, McIntosh, enjoy as a runner. He's a stud. But can't discredit, TCU. Because this definitely going to be Max Duggan's last college football game. And if he can resemble what he did versus Michigan with some cleanup stuff, then Bulldogs might have to worry about themselves. Might have to be a little worried. Because Quentin Johnson is not to be underestimated, that's for sure. That's for sure. If I pick, I'm going with Georgia, but TCU, I don't know. Let's get into it. So, the other games of Week 17. Let's go over a bit the whole Week 17 dynamic. Let's see where NFL weeks. Shit, I should have my papers somewhere. Shoot, one sec. Oh, jeez. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone really quick, but dive into the rest of the matchups that took place on NFL Week 17. So, due to obviously the game being canceled from Monday, came back, so 8-7, above 500 record for last week. I mean, above 500, but hey. It's not been as good as I was last season. So, hey. But sitting above 500, so much better than it was at the start of the season. So, Cowboys, first of all, defeat the Titans and Josh Dobbs on Thursday, 27-13. The Cowboys are suddenly kind of in the driver's seat to potentially take the NFC East from the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, if they can win on Sunday and the Eagles lose, then Cowboys are also in the top 2 seed because they have the tiebreaker versus the Vikings. Now, depending on 49ers game, they can have to bye, but that would be a huge detriment to the Eagles. Have to go to Tampa Bay for the second year in a row. Especially coming off this season, I don't know. Falcons defeated the Cardinals 2019. I mean, it was a so-so game, competitive game, but, David Blau starting at QB for the Cardinals. Desmond Ridder looked okay. J.J. Watt, good for him. Now has double-digit sacks for this season, so great to see. But Falcons get the dub. Lions blew out the Bears 41-10, and they have their chance. I mean, regardless of what happened Sunday night, this has been a successful season for the Detroit Lions, I feel. I mean, I pegged them as going 7-10, 7-8 wins. And the NFC South behind the Vikings and the Packers. Now, but, considering where they were 1-6, now 7-2 since, certainly credit to Dan Campbell and their coaching and their team. Jared Goff, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. You could say, at least in my opinion, it's his best season thus far. Jaguars won 31-3. Trevor Lawrence was pulled out in the middle of the third. I mean, no surprise. And they're in prime position to take the AFC South on Saturday night, which is unique to think of, but true. Chiefs won 27-24 over the Broncos. Better effort by Russell Wilson in the offense. 2 takeovers of Patrick Mahomes, but wasn't enough for the Broncos to ultimately prevail. And Chiefs got it done. Giants blew out the Colts 38-10. Danny Dimes had a heck of a day. Barkley didn't have a great day on the ground, but, credit to the Giants staff, and Colts are stuck in the mud pretty much. And the Giants are officially in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years actually. But credit to them. Saints with the stunner on New Year's Day beat the Eagles 20-10. It wasn't a pretty day for either quarterback, whether it was Gardner Minshew, Taysom Hill, or Andy Dalton, but Saints got it done. Eagles are losing momentum, and with Lane Johnson, now he could return for the playoffs, but it's looking a bit ugly for Philly. Buccaneers beat the Panthers in a pretty interesting game, 30-24, as Tom Brady and the Bucs had a wild second half, and Mike Evans over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and credit to him. I mean, 9 straight seasons with over 1,000 yards. Ties Matt Forte's record for most 1,000-yard seasons to start a career, and just a testament to what he's done. Browns beat the Commanders 24-10. Carson Wentz, 3 turnovers, or 3 picks. Deshaun Watson, 3 touchdowns. Good for the Browns and good for Deshaun Watson. They seem like they're ultimately salvaging this season despite, no playoffs, but, 7 wins at least for this season is credit to them despite their expectations. And the Commanders are eliminated. I mean, yikes. 49ers won 37-34. Brock Purdy, Jarrett Stidham. A shootout you didn't think you needed, but you got, and both delivered. Credit to Stidham. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Did have a couple turnovers, but he's hung in there. They were ahead by 10, but 49ers came back. Brock Purdy came back. I mean, the defense didn't look like how it's supposed to be, but ultimately 49ers got it done and can be the 1 seed in the NFC by all accounts. Seahawks won 23-6, eliminating the Jets after dropping 5 straight losses for Jets. We'll have to wait another year at least to see the largest playoff drought in current history be ended. But credit to the Seahawks, credit to Geno. Bit of a revenge game, versus the Jets. So, good to see there. Packers beat the Vikings 41-17. I mean, Jair Alexander called out Jefferson earlier in the week, said his performance in week 1 was a fluke. Jefferson only got 1 catch. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Kirk Cousins had a few turnovers. I mean, Packers stay alive for the playoffs. I mean, That was one of those how games, just how. Chargers beat the Rams in the Battle of LA, 31-10. You know, seems like now with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen healthy, that their receivers are healthy and Austin Eckler rolling. Justin Herbert feels more comfortable and the offense is flowing. Now, Joey Bosa returned on Sunday. Perhaps Rashawn Slater can return for the playoffs because they're likely for the 5th seed. And whether it's the Jaguars or the Titans, they're going to have their hands full with the Chargers. And Steelers beat the Ravens on Sunday night, 16-13. Credit to a late touchdown drive by Kenny Pickett. I mean, it was a tight game through and through, but Steelers got it done and are still alive for the playoffs come this weekend. So with those out of the way, let's get into our final full 16-week prediction of the season. I have not cracked over 12 wins this season, which I mean is good, but I mean, want to strive for more. Let's see if we can get it done in the final week of the season. Let's see. So we got 2 Saturday games to look forward to. First off, so Chiefs versus the Raiders in Las Vegas. This was a game I thought could potentially be for division. Obviously, before the season, obviously I was wrong. But still has big significance. Now, with the Bills-Bengals game being canceled, it provides a new narrative for this game. Because if the Chiefs and the Bills both win or lose, then likely an AFC title game will be a neutral site. Now, Chiefs going to Vegas. Chiefs 9.5-point favorites. Mahomes for over 5,000 yards. Most since his first season as a starter. Now, I will say this season has made me respect Mahomes more, I will say. Because no Tyreek Hill. I mean, the offense has been more of a machine, I'd say. Because Isaiah Pacheco running the ball, he's done well, along with Jared McKinnon and Edwards-Helaire. But still got Kelsey, Valdez-Scantling, Carmen's been hurt. I mean, they have held it together well, and still Mahomes is putting up heck of numbers for this year. Going to the Raiders now. Jarrett Stidham's second start. Now, if he can duplicate that performance against the Niners, Chiefs are going to be in for a world of hurt. But 9.5, bit big, you know. Now, despite the numbers, there's obviously a difference in how the Chiefs' offense has flowed this season than previous. So I think maybe 9.5 is too much. So I'm going to say the Raiders cover, but ultimately Chiefs win 27-21 in Las Vegas. Titans at the Jags. Jags 6.5 point favorites at home. The Jags, there's still a scenario where if the Titans win, then the Jags will make the playoffs. But that involves 3 teams losing. And, I mean, it can happen, but this is the likeliest way of them making the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, a big 180 since his rookie season. I mean, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, Josh Dobbs starting for the Titans. He did do some nice things, but unless Ryan Tannehill is healthy, which he was shut down for the rest of the season, it's unfortunate, but I don't see the Titans going anywhere without Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. So 24-17. Jaguars cover by a smidge, and they win the AFC South and likely face the Chargers wildcard round. So fun matchup to look forward to. Rematch of Week 3. Sunday's games. Sunday's big slate. Buccaneers going to the Falcons. Falcons 4-point favorites at home. Now, the Bucs clinched the NFC South on Sunday and cannot move up or down, which is probably a clue as to how, or the minds of the bettors for this game, or the odds makers. But by all accounts, it's going to be a close game, I mean, if anything, I bet if I still have the Buccaneers winning, though 23-20 on the road to finish out the regular season and get some nice momentum before the playoffs. Patriots at the Bills. Bills 7.5 point favorites. Pretty simple for the Patriots. win, and you're in. Now, the Bills-Bengals game cancellation, you could argue, mess them up the most in a way as far as their playoff issues, because if the Bills, now who knows, the Bengals could have won that game, but if the Bills had won that game for some Bengals, and hopefully, and that incident with Damar Hamlin doesn't happen, if the Bills had won that game and the Chiefs had lost, or Chiefs lose to the Raiders on Saturday, then potentially the Bills rest the stars, because Bills would be the 1 seed. But nonetheless, stuff happened, and Patriots now got their shot. They just got their shot, so win and get in. Now, how ready will the Bills be is the question. Because, overcoming that incident. Now, great thing for Damar Hamlin is much better. Much better. Apparently, he FaceTimed his teammates earlier, so great for him. In the team meeting. But yeah, how ready will they be? And I think with the improvements of Damar Hamlin, I think that will give them a boost, I think, along with keeping the Patriots out of the playoffs. So, I think the Patriots will keep it competitive for a while, but I think ultimately the Bills pull it away 27-17. Vikings go to Chicago throughout the season. Now, for the Vikings, they're now the 3 seed. If they had won versus the Packers, they would still have a chance of the 1 seed, but now it's just a case of either 3 or 2 for the Vikings. And I don't think after what happened, you want to go into playoffs with a sour taste in your mouth. And no Justin Fields playing. I think that the Vikings will do well, build a lead, and then rest some of their starters by the end of the third. So 28-20, Vikings get the win. If by an upset Cardinals win, then they would be the 2 seed. We'll see. Texans at Colts. Colts 2.5-point favorites at home. Texans, if they lose, they automatically clinch the 1 seed. Or if the Vikings beat the Bears, that's another way to clinch our number one draft pick, excuse me, in the NFL draft. And I wonder, they probably got news that, Justin Fields not going to play, and I think they just gotta leave it on the table. I mean, 1 versus 2. That's weird, but nonetheless, I like how the Texans have been playing hard for Lovie Smith. Credit that game versus the Jags sucked, but prior weeks, they've been playing hard for Lovie. I think with Justin Fields not playing for the Vikings, that probably tells them, hey, leave it out on there, leave out on a good note. And the Colts just suck right now. They just suck. No other way to put it, they are just stuck in the mud. I'm going with the Texans here. Can't believe I'm saying that after I got burned last week by picking them against Jags. But yeah, 23-16. Texans win. Finish on a high note. Jets at the Dolphins. Jets 1-point favorites on the road. Now, Dolphins can still make the playoffs. If they win and the Bills beat the Patriots, then the Dolphins would be the 7th seed. After all this mess with the Tua situations and falling apart with 5 straight losses, they can still make the playoffs. Now, seems like it'll be Skylar Thompson versus Teddy Bridgewater, or Skylar Thompson versus Joe Flacco, excuse me. I mean, I don't know about this game. Both defenses I like. Flacco, I trust Joe Flacco and that defense still to make a push to go out on the right foot over Skylar Thompson. If it was Teddy Bridgewater, then I'd feel different. But 20-17, Jets, and any last hopes are the Dolphins. And finish on a high note, bit of a high note, not too high, but something to look forward to in the playoffs or in the off season, perhaps. Panthers at Saints. If the Panthers had won versus the Buccaneers, this would probably be for the division. Probably. But now Sam Darnold did look good, and the Panthers did hang in there, but defense crumbled at the opportune time for Brady. I mean, Saints, it's back and forth, back and forth. either good this week or they're not. I'm going with the Saints, though. By the way, the 3.5-point favorites. Barely covered, 21-17 at home. This is intriguing. Browns at Steelers. Steelers 3-point favorites. Their scenario is right in front of them. If they win, Patriots and Dolphins both lose. They are in the 7th seed. But it's not going to be easy versus the Browns. And, I mean, Deshaun Watson's making improvement as well. He's, had 3 touchdowns last week. Credit, he only had completed 50% of his passes, but showing some improvement. And, Myles Garrett had another excellent season. Over 15 sacks on the year. But this feels like another game that, we saw it versus the Raiders. We saw it with the Ravens. Steelers just hang around and eventually they lead down the drive and Steelers get it done, 24-20. And Mike Tomlin will have another winning record on his resume. So, hope for them. Bengals Ravens. Now, this game was just promptly put into the morning slate. Of course, with the decision to not resume the Bengals-Bills game. Bengals 7-point favorites at home. Lamar Jackson will miss this game as well. So, definitely gonna change my score for this. I'm gonna say 28-14. Bengals win. And the other thing is they already clinched the division, but this will kind of feel like icing on the cake. In the way of blessing in disguise, I'd say. Although with the incident of the coin toss, we'll see. But Bengals get the win at home. Eagles hosting the Giants. Eagles 14-point favorites. If the Eagles win, they clinch the division and the 1 seed. If they lose, then 49ers or the Cowboys can take the 1 seed. And, I would not want to have to go to Tom Brady and the Bucs 2 years in a row. In the first round of the playoffs. Giants are... Brian Dable said earlier in the week that they're going to play some of their stars. Now, they're locked into the 6th seed. They can't move up or down. That's the thing. So, in all likelihood, they're going to face either the Vikings or the 49ers at the end of the day to start the playoffs. So, now again, Brian Daboll is a hell of a coach. He's probably going to have something in store. I'm going to pick the Giants. It sounds weird. I'm picking Giants 20-14. It sounds crazy, but it just feels like something's going on. Cowboys going to the Commanders. Cowboys 7.5-point favorites. Commanders eliminated. Will start Sam Howell. Cowboys, again, can go pretty much either 1, 2, or 5 by the end of Sunday. It just feels like I said, something's going to happen. 29-17, though, Cowboys win over Commanders. Chargers going to Denver. Chargers 3-point favorites on the road. Jerry Rosenberg's second game as interim head coach for the Broncos. They played well. The offense looked better in a way. Against the Chiefs. So I think they'll score. And that's it. Now the other thing is Chargers either 5 or 6 seed. So competitive there. I'm going to say 26. 24. Chargers win. Broncos cover. Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks 6.5-point favorites. If the Seahawks win, then the Lions are eliminated, which will suck for the Lions going into Lambeau Sunday night. With the Rams, since Baker's starter, it's been up, it's been down. They blew out the Broncos on Christmas, and then they had kind of a not so great performance against the Chargers. Now, I think they're going to look better on Sunday in Seattle. And now, will that be enough for a win? Because, this Rams team is pretty much in transition. Next year, pretty much looking to next year, they're going to look to draft. They're going to look to improve on the offensive line. They're going to do many things to help get them back to where they were last season. Because they are in transition. So, I'm going to say 23 to 17. Seahawks win. Barely covered. Barely. The Rams do. '49ers hosting the Cardinals. J.J. Watt's report final game. I mean, he's going to give what he has, but the 49ers have a chance of the 1 seed. If they win, Eagles lose, they're the 1 seed. And I don't know who's the starter this week for the Cardinals, but 30-20, 49ers win. So, Sunday Night Football. Lions at Packers. 4.5-point favorites are the Packers. Packers win, they make the playoffs. Otherwise, based on my pick earlier, the Seahawks would be in the playoffs. 7th seed. Dan Campbell's done a hell of a job with the Lions this season. 8-8. Considering where they were. Packers, 4-game win streak. Hell of a job for them when they looked like they were dead in the water. But just one win away from the playoffs. So, I'm going to go with the Packers here. 23-20. Packers win. And yeah, make playoffs as Cincy. So now, based on my predictions, the way it would seem. So based on my predictions, the Chiefs would be the 1 seed. Bills will be the 2. Bengals 3, which would cause the implications, possibly a neutral site game for the AFC title game. Jaguars 4, Chargers 5, Ravens 6, which then the tiebreaker or coin flip scenario would come into play. 7 would be the Steelers would be the 7th seed going to or Buffalo. So crazy. But that's how it roll. Now for the NFC. So based on my predictions, 49ers would be the 1 seed. Cowboys would be the 2 seed, hosting Green Bay. Vikings would be 3 seed, hosting the Giants in a rematch. So we got 2 rematches, fun rematches from the last number of weeks. And the Buccaneers would host the Eagles. So, weird lining of playoffs as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I can't wait for these games. Now let's go into, because we have to talk about some epic performances we've seen from the NBA, some NBA players the last couple of days. LeBron James has strung some hell of games together. 47 on his birthday at age 38. Got 43 the other day, and I think over 30, probably 30, I think 38 last night, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that, but they're hanging in there, are the Lakers, without Anthony Davis. Lauri Markkanen is a guy who, Luka is my clear-cut MVP so far, but Lauri Markkanen for the Jazz, I think, has been a stud this season and deserves some votes as well. 49 points yesterday for the Jazz, so hell of a job to him. And how can we not talk about the 71 points from Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers? Mitchell, since coming to the Cavs, has done an excellent job. Adding to Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Kevin Love. They've been studs across the board for the Cavs, and they're a team to watch. A sleeper team in the playoffs, that's for sure. But yeah, gotta give the guys some love as well. But anyways, thank you for joining me. This was a good video, being able to post with the new little computer. Hopefully it looks good, and hopefully the picture is all alright with the updates on that. But if you did, click the like button in the corner, leave a thumbs up, help out the video, help the channel. Thank you all. Be safe. I'm Angel, to love. See you guys next week. Peace.